Right, testing. Let me just quickly check I'm up and live. Haven't been on for a few weeks, so I have to check the equipment out. Right, there we go. Okay, well, Bitcoin. I guess you would have seen this pattern before. If you've seen my other streams there, you would see what's going on here. Now I'm going to go into a bit more detail on the weekly, and then we're going to scale down to the daily and the 4 hour. And I think I can show that this is bullish. I can show I've spotted a nice entry, I think, to this pattern. And well, let's check it out. So what we're looking at here, I'll cover this quite quickly because I've done 2 streams on this already. This Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, which we're in at the moment. I'm expecting a push for a 5th. So a high 5th in this pattern, you have to expect it, because a truncated 5th is rare. Okay, meaning they will normally make a 5th. So that's our first bit of bullish price action. So what we're looking at here is I've drawn a little fractal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC in here, just to show you what's going on if you're not familiar with the Elliott wave cycles. So what we have is a 1, 2, a 3, and a very impulsive 3. I don't think we can argue that's not a 3, right? So for me, this Elliott wave is pretty clear. This is the weekly. So we've got the 4th, which pulled back. It didn't breach the 1, so we've got a valid 4th here, 4th wave, and it come back and clipped the Ichimoku cloud here, look, which will often be the support in the trends. The Ichimoku cloud can be a dynamic support. Now when the cloud's thick, that means there's lots of support there. When it's thin, it's just a support. So we can see we're getting a thick cloud through here, so we've got a good bit of support coming up, and we are above it. Right, so we're going to have a quick look at this cycle here if you're not familiar with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC. Now these are fractal waves. Now what we're seeing at the moment is this part of the pattern playing out. So we're currently about here. So as you can see, here's the 3rd, here's the 4th, here's the breakout back above this resistance here, look, because this was resistance at one time, wasn't it? 42. All these little touches through here, and that one there, look, was the resistance. Now when it broke through there, the 42, 41, 42, 3, whatever, it's quite a thick band of support and resistance, but let's say 41, 2 and 3, you know, about a 3 grand resistance through there, support and resistance area. And when it got above it, it touched it there and it became the support. Right, so we've had to draw that in. We can't ignore that. It's weekly and it's quite strong. So I've drawn it through here as a rough idea. Now where we are at the moment is we push back up and we're above that support. So I need to just pull this across over this way a little bit to make it relevant to the pattern we're in now. So I think we're currently in this sort of like area here. We've come back down and we've clipped that support again, which is here. And now things to note on this rejection, right? On the weekly, it wicked. There was no body below that support, right? So we wicked that area. I'll delete this because I had this on from another stream. Let me get rid of that. Sorry, from a different bit of technical analysis. Right, so we're currently maintaining the cloud. We're in a strong thick cloud here for support, right? And we've got this 42 through to 41 probably range of support coming up, right? So I know it's getting a bit boring and I'm parroting that, but anyway, getting back to this pattern here, I will go to lower time frames in a minute and we're going into a lot more in depth of this pattern that we're seeing play out. So this is the Elliott wave. We broke down below, it gave us the 4, right? Now we can't see that also. I mean, if we want to use Dow theory here, let me just zoom back a little bit here. So if we're going to apply Dow theory to the trend, that's a higher high and a higher low pullback, isn't it? The 4th. So that's what we're in at the moment. So if we were going to do away with all the Elliott wave, we've got a higher high swing here, and this is in a retracement. So this is not a sell pattern. You don't sell this. Sellers should get wrecked if they start selling here. Everything, the technical analysis is telling us this is a bull trend. High and we're in a retracement, and we can see it was quite a shallow retracement. It didn't come down to no 60s or 70, you know, or 88.6 fibs or nothing like that. She rejected, you know, around about 50% of that swing, just eyeing it up. Probably was a little bit lower than that fifth, but between the 60, pardon me, 50 and the 61.8 is where that fourth is fell. So let me just quickly put it on just to show us. Right, I'm going to delete it back off afterwards. So it didn't quite clip the 61.8 of a high swing, right? So high swing using Dow theory, high low swing. So, and if you look here, there's like a triple bottom through here, look. So that's kind of like quite a strong indication when the market gives you a triple bottom and a breakout. You know, that's another, it's quite a strong, powerful indication that it's going to be a reversal of that spot. So anyway, so there's the 4 around the 61.8. Let's delete this off. Now, when we get this pattern here and it's valid, like we, you know, like this fractal that I've drawn, once you've got the 4th and the rejection, you have to expect a high 5th. That's why I've drawn it in here as a high 5th. You have to expect it because that's what price will do more often than not. So we need to be aware of that anyone that's selling Bitcoin at the moment or is worried about their buy hold positions and that kind of thing, right, this is bullish. It should not be seen any other way. I don't care what anyone else, you can, I'm not going to go into it, but you shouldn't be selling a high pullback, right? So you should be buying it. So we've got a high, we've got a pullback. This is a buy on Dow theory. This is a lovely buy on Elliott wave because the 4th to the 5th is a pattern that a lot of people are trade because it's a strong pattern. We expect the 5th to be higher because if it doesn't make a 5th, then it forms a truncated 4th. Sorry, a truncated 5th. Now that's quite a rare pattern. We don't see a trunk 5th very often. This is why this is such a strong bullish pattern at the moment. So anyway, I think we've covered that now, that when you see this 4 to the 5th, expect a high 5th, right? Okay, so we've got the 4 here. We're above this very strong resistance around the 42 and it's now become support. On the weekly it's wicked it, right? So now we're going to dial down into some, we're going to stay here just on the weekly for a moment and then we're going to nip down to the daily and the H4. Now as we can see, it wicked the support here. There's a wick on that candle. If I zoom in a bit more, not sure if you guys can see it. I hope I'm making this really clear to anyone that's not familiar with the Elliott wave cycles, the patterns, Dow theory and maybe Ichimoku cloud. You know, this is I'm just trying to explain it in a way that hopefully we can, it'll be crystal clear. So the rejection of this swing was a wick. We got no daily close below the support. It held it perfectly. The body is right here. So the buying pressure here was very, very strong. Now it's not surprising, is it, with the support that we've seen, the 4th wave, it's got to expect the 5th, and the Ichimoku cloud. These are all strong systems, and the Dow theory, the high, and the pullback, and the triple bottom. All of this is bullish technical analysis. I don't see any bearish technical analysis showing up on the weekly time frame. Full stop. So anyone shorting or has got any shorts on wants to be in a much lower time frame than the weekly, that's for sure, because anyone that's trading the weekly time frame, which is the true direction, is going to be a bull. They're going to be bullish. Right, so now let's stick a fib on this here and see what kind of swing we are making out here and see where it, because it's natural for a swing to have pullbacks. So even on this swing here, the 4 to the 5th, because this is probably going to become a zigzag and go straight back up again. Now what I will note is we've rejected the 50 and we've rejected the 61.8 and we've wicked it and we're back above the support. There should be no short in here. I'm going to echo that. Do not sell Bitcoin. In my opinion, use your own analysis, but my opinion is don't sell Bitcoin, right? Hold your longs and buy, because this is a spot to go long. Right, so let's get back to the daily time frame now. Now also note, sorry, while I'm here, also note that we're approaching a TK cross, right? The blue and the red line here of the Ichimoku cloud. right? Now, it's typical in a pullback, in a correction, to get a TK cross to the low side and then for it to continue to cross back to the bullish TK. So the blue crossed under the red, giving us a TK cross, a bearish one. Now, look what the blue's doing. The blue's heading up and the red is sideways. It looks like in the next week or two we're going to get the bullish TK cross, which means we won't only have Elliott Wave traders buying this. We will have Ichimoku Cloud traders that trade the cloud. There's a few systems people use on the Ichimoku Cloud. You can wait for pullbacks to the cloud and wait for rejections and buy them in a bullish scenario, or you can take the TK cross. Well, in this scenario, the TK cross is setting up for a bullish, and we've got the cloud rejection. So you've got Ichimoku Cloud traders buying it and watching for the next TK cross setup. Dow theory traders taking the pullbacks, looking for 50% pullbacks, let's say, in a high swing, rejections. And then we've got a very strong Elliott Wave 4th to the 5th, which is another strong pattern that people look for. You know, we as traders, we search all the instruments and we look for these setups, and this is setting up like a beautiful one. This is a really strong, powerful setup. So let's get back over to the daily here. Now, what is the daily showing us? Well, for me, when I look at this Fibonacci tool through here, the retracement tool, we're using it for retracements at the moment because I'm pulling it from the low of the swing to the high of this swing, and we're watching it. Right now, what do we expect? You know, a natural ebbs and flows of the market is we kind of expect 50% pullbacks to be a natural correction in a swing. Of course, we get the odd one that retraces 38.2 or 70 or 61.8 or whatever, but as a rule of thumb, we expect most swings to retrace 50%. Now, this is a classic retracement here. She wicked to 50% and the bottom of the cloud. Right now, when we are sideways in the cloud, that's not a good sign for bulls or bears, you know. So at the moment in the daily, it's not really a buy position. Now, I do think that it's setting up nicely here for a buy, but if we're going to use the Ichimoku Cloud system, then it's not really a buy here yet on the daily, because you want the price to break the cloud and get back out of the cloud. This is why I've drawn this little bit of resistance through here, look, because that's what I think might become key for the Ichimoku Cloud traders. Yeah, they're going to be looking for rejections here, look, because the cloud is turned bullish. It was bearish until it found its 4th wave on the weekly. Now it's turned bullish, and it's a thick cloud. There's lots of support. We're seeing it in there. The cloud is showing us. Now, the 50% pullback. Let's look at how it did it. Natural high and high low swings all the way through, and then we've got the first lower low swing that took out this swing low here. So we'd have to call that, we'd have to expect this to continue higher, because it's an ABC at the same time. So pull back to the A, then a B, and then a C. So at the moment we've got an ABC correction in a bull trend, and it's all happening around the 50%. So again, we're very bullish. We're bullish right the way through. Now, on the daily time frame, this is going to be the area which is going to be key. They're going to be looking for breakouts for this ABC correction to be over and the cloud to be broken outside of the cloud. So daily traders are going to be mindful of this. They're going to be watching. They might start buying here, but they might scaling small and then move to a full position once they break out the cloud and break the support of this B wave, the resistance of this B wave, because this is often how you'll have to tackle these ABCs, is wait for them to either give an inverse head and shoulder, in this case because it's a bullish market, left shoulder, head, back up to the neckline, right shoulder, slight coil, sideways consolidation and a pop. This is what ideally, to play these ABC corrections safely, you have to wait for the B to be taken out. So this is where your safe traders are going to hang out, the ones that wait for all confirmation to line up. This is where they're going to be looking to get long, and this is where some of the guys are going to start scaling in with tight stops, small stop, entering on maybe a quarter of a position, quarter sized, looking to scale in some more up here, because if you get in early on some of these and they play out how you expect, you can kind of like double down on them here using some of this profit that you've already made, making it so it maintains your same risk, because you're only starting at say 0.25% of your trade, but when you go to full position you've got all this room here to allow for the trade, you know, for a stop loss on your trade here. There's a couple of different ways I think people are going to play that. Is on the daily, this is going to be seen as an ABC correction in a bull trend to expect a high. Now H4, I think your intraday traders and H4 traders, they're going to probably have a slightly different approach. I'm going to clear up the Ichimoku cloud here for a moment. I'll just quickly cover the use of the cloud while we're here though. So at the moment we're still in a bear cloud on the H4, so we need price action to break above this cloud for a start before you can even think about getting long and buying this support here on the H4. So it's not a buy here yet on the lower time frames. Let's get rid of this cloud. Right, now what we are going to use here is on this intraday one, we're going to stick a pitchfork through. I haven't done this yet, but it just looks like there's going to be a channel in there. Where's my pitchfork? Here we go. Right, I'm probably going to use that looks about right. I'd say that crash thing there is going to be probably a little bit void. Looking at this, I'd say it looks about right. So we're in this pitchfork, and obviously we're in a lower high swing setup at the moment, but bear in mind that is a daily ABC, which is a bullish pattern, a bullish correction. So we're going to need to watch this on this pitchfork, because we've got the cloud through here. We want to see it break above that cloud, don't we, and break out of this pitchfork and start showing us it's going to go long. And ideally we're going to get something through here. So now we're going to get rid of the pitchfork purely. I mean, I would keep it on your chart if you're looking for the breakout, but it's going to get messy for me to do my TA, so I'm going to remove it there for the minute. Ideally what we're going to want to see here is price to come back up and retest this area here and give us a right shoulder in this zone. Doesn't have to be a deep one, but I think an inverse head and shoulder breakout to this ABC correction on the daily would be the ideal bull pattern to take your buy and hold for high and hold for all-time highs. So if we can get this or something like this happen on the H4 time frame, it would be cloud breakout on all time frames, all the higher time frames. We know we've covered the weekly and the daily, so we know that's bullish across the board. If we get this, it'd be bullish on H4 as well. So this would be your key trigger. I think for me this is going to be the best opportunity to get long on Bitcoin. Now I know there's a few going to scream because we're under the 50, but we've dealt with that now. We've been caught around that 50 for quite a while. So H4, this would be a gift if we get an inverse head and shoulder falling through here and breakout, because we've got the 60k res up here, which would be your target one. That's the weekly res. Take some profit and then hold for all-time highs, because we have to expect the high fifth wave. Everything's bullish about this, so I don't think we should be, you know, even I don't even like seeing streams and stuff where they're saying it's bearish and sell Bitcoin and it's done and all this kind of thing, because it's one of the most bullish assets that I've seen for a long time. It's got such a bullish. The price action is just screaming. It's going to go. It's going to go massive. It's it's having to build up. It's loading up again. It's taking a breather, and then it's going to pop, and we're going to get all-time high smash. And this ain't me being a moon boy. This is me using technical analysis only. I don't care about crazy predictions and stuff like that. This is just pure technical analysis. I haven't got an interest as in I want it to crash, I want it to buy. I want it to crash, I want it to moon. I just want to make money on the swings, buying at the right spot. So